For season 4, there's some stories that we wanted to tell that would push the envelope on the show altogether.
We wanted to start taking things as more event-style storytelling. In the past, we were pretty much just going through story, but this time we really wanted to make it where you had to watch every episode. And we wanted to really please the fans and make our inner geeks happy, and I think we did that this season.
For season 4, we wanted to make every story sort of count, and every story sort of have a hook to it that you could describe in one line. You know, we have the zombie episode, we have the alien invasion episode, and we just wanted every episode to be big and episodes that people could be excited about.
The shows are getting better and better. I think the writing has always been great, but it's getting just even more interesting with the interpersonal dynamic between the characters as well as the villains.
The storylines were terrific, and I think they did play out, and when you see the episodes, you see how the series evolved, and I think it is the best season yet.
The driving force between season 4, I would say, was obviously bringing Batman into a larger family with the addition of Robin.
Ugh, a Robin? Like the bird? You know, kids my age get beat up for nicknames like that.
You know, when we started off season 1 of the Batman was a loner, and we've been tracking his development as a crime fighter, and he's been relying on more and more people as he's gone along, and so season 3 focused on the addition of Batgirl, and you know, and the natural progression was the addition of Robin.
We brought Robin in on season 4 as opposed to previous seasons because he was tied up in the Teen Titans show, so it was time.
Robin is an interesting character in that he brings an element of freedom and lightness to Batman's world. Batman is a very grim-driven character who keeps a lot of his thoughts and emotions to himself. And the fact that he has any emotion to spare on this kid tells the reader or the viewer that he's not completely a lost soul himself.
He becomes a father figure without question. He's something of an older brother. He's everything to Robin.
Robin started in the comic books in 1940. He was Dick Grayson, and later on down the line there were 2 other Robins. Dick grew up to become Nightwing, and there was Jason Todd, who didn't last too long, and then there was Tim Drake, who is the Robin today. But we went back to the original Dick Grayson story of his parents dying in a circus shakedown situation.
We always intended to use Dick Grayson as our Robin, since this is the formative years of Batman and beginning of his family, and we were just really excited to sort of get into that story, because Robin is really, you know, deeply connected with Batman in a way that Batgirl never really is. Even though she's a good partner for Batman, she doesn't have that same, you know, family tragedy element that connects Batman with Robin.
Who's the pixie?
Robin, official partner to the Dark Knight.
The relationship with Robin and Batgirl was very tumultuous in the beginning, because it's basically like you have a new brother or a new sister and you're jealous. So we played it out more like a family, where he was the stern father and those two are the arguing kids all the time, which was fun because, again, the show needs to have humor, and that's a good, ripe source for humor.
For better or worse, Batman has forced Robin and Batgirl to look upon each other as family members. And like all families, there are good and bad things that come out of that relationship. And I think that that's one of the fascinating things to explore within the Batman universe.
I think Robin helped focus the you know, his character in the sense of him learning how to deal with others, forming the Bat family, and, you know, learning to work well with people.
I'm not one of those Arkham loners you're used to, Batman. I have a vast organization to deal with you.
Memo to Black Mask.
You're not the only one with an organization.
How we decide to add new villains or just use the Rogues Gallery, what percentage it is mainly based on the stories we want to tell. If we have a bunch of new stories that don't exist with any villains that make any sense, we'll make up a new one. But if there's a story about how we want to test Batman's mind, we'll probably use the Riddler. It grows organically out of the story process. Mike Jelenic and I, we'd sit there and we'd hammer out the stories and we'd figure out a way to just make it work with, you know, whatever we really need for that story.
We definitely wanted, going into the 4th season, to throw in more villains. I think the first 3 seasons were very Joker and Penguin heavy, and we didn't want to overuse those characters. So when they were featured, we wanted their appearances to count. So with that in mind, we looked at who would be cool, who haven't we used before.
This season we gave ourselves this mandate to make the best season ever. Part of that would be bringing back the villains that the fans would want to see, and Harley Quinn has always been a Batman villain that people love.
Hi, hi, Gotham! Harley's back for a special farewell show!
Everybody's been talking about, bringing Harley Quinn in since day one, and, it's such a sacred character, and everybody was a little nervous about, reinterpreting her, and we came up with a good solution, and it was get Paul Dini to write the episode. Paul Dini, who created the character with Bruce Timm.
Harley Quinn's introduction into the Batman came out of a desire to put characters who had become iconic over the last 15 years into the new show. So it seemed only natural that she should appear in the new show, or some new version of her should appear.
The Joker-Harley relationship is one of the most dysfunctional relationships in comics and animated TV.
There's a little bit more of an equal footing in this new relationship between the Joker and Harley. She was never really the hench girl in this new version that she was in the old version. It's more like she and the Joker have a couple of fun nights on the town, and he helps her pull off something that she wants to do. That immediately puts her more as a peer and an ally than a girl who scurries after him going, yes, Mr. J.
It's that demented relationship that people are fascinated with, her and the Joker. She's just funny. I mean, if you can put comedy into these crazy, action-packed, some would say violent situations, I mean, so much the better. I mean, she's just fun.
I think she just appeals to people in so many different ways. She just on the surface is just, she's a cute girl, and and everybody likes that. But at the same time, she's such a bad girl. And when it comes down to it, she can be absolutely vicious. And I think that's just fascinating to people.
This is the end for all of you.
This season, the arc of the show is it's introducing Batman to new players. And the first show was with Robin, and then we go on to have Robin and Batgirl and Batman be a team. And so Batman's world starts to open up until the very end, where he meets the Martian Manhunter.
For season 4, we wanted to expand that his role is bigger than the community of Gotham. He's like a superhero of the world, even of the galaxy, once we're throwing in, Martian Manhunter. And I think Martian Manhunter helps illustrate his expanding importance as a superhero.
I'm not the only thing from outer space that's come to Gotham, but right now I'm the only thing that can stop it.
Stop what?
Invasion. Alien invasion. The end of your world.
I mean, the stories are even bigger in scope this year. They really are. And towards the end of the season, can't give anything away, but we get to work with some other DC characters in a really cool way. Yeah, you're going to watch through the end, because the end of that season is just...
As I read the scripts for the season, I thought the writers were doing a great job of really busting loose on interesting stories and interesting characters and bringing in interesting villains, and just conceptually, I thought their ideas were so good.
I think our whole crew is super excited about the season. I think it's the best season we've ever put out, and we're super proud of it. We just love it.
Seasons 1 through 3 were great seasons. Season 4 really built upon those 3 seasons, built upon that foundation, and elevated the show to another level. It's one of the favorite seasons of any show that I've ever worked on.